He walked into a crowded bar in Columbus, Ohio. Security cameras caught him laughing with friends and talking near the escalator just before closing time. There were cameras on every exit, but somehow, there is no footage of him leaving. Brian Shaffer walked into the bar and was never seen again. Welcome to Where the Trail Ends, where we follow the story until it disappears. Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student at The Ohio State University. He was in his second year of medical school, known for being funny, warm, and a little bit shy until you got to know him. He loved music, especially Pearl Jam, and he talked about someday traveling the world or even starting a band. Just days before he disappeared, Brian's mother passed away after a long battle with cancer. Her death hit him incredibly hard. Friends said he was grieving, but still functioning. Still going to class, still trying to move forward, even if the pain was mostly on the inside. Spring break had just begun. On March 31st, Brian had dinner with his father, Randy. They talked, laughed, and hugged goodbye. Nothing seemed unusual. Brian told his dad he was going out to celebrate the start of break with friends. That night, Brian and his friend Clint went to a bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona in the Short North District of Columbus. They had a few drinks, went to a couple of other bars, and eventually returned to the Ugly Tuna shortly before closing time. Throughout the night, people said Brian seemed relaxed and in good spirits, smiling, joking, and enjoying the music. Security cameras inside the bar showed Brian moving around the upper level. At 1:55 a.m., he was recorded talking to two young women near the top of the escalator. They said goodbye and walked away. That is the last confirmed video of Brian Shaffer. The entrance to the Ugly Tuna Saloona was watched by a security camera. The footage clearly shows Brian walking into the bar earlier in the evening. It shows his friends leaving. It shows the crowd thinning out as closing time approached. But there is no video of Brian leaving. He is not seen on the escalator. He is not seen walking onto the street. He is not seen exiting through the front doors like everyone else. Investigators reviewed the footage frame by frame repeatedly. Still, Brian never appears leaving the bar. There was a service exit in the back that led into a construction area. At the time, the area around the Ugly Tuna was under renovation, with scaffolding, debris, fencing, and partially blocked walkways. It would have been dark and uneven, especially after drinking. If Brian tried to leave through that route, he could have slipped, gotten injured, or encountered someone. All in an area that cameras didn't fully cover. But again, there is no clear evidence he went that way. No witnesses reported seeing him there. No outside camera picked him up afterward. It remains only a possibility. When Brian didn't show up for a planned trip to Miami with his girlfriend, worry turned into fear. His phone went straight to voicemail. He missed classes and exams. He missed everything. Police searched hospitals, shelters, garages, alleyways, and the nearby river. Search dogs were brought in. Flyers were posted across Ohio and eventually across the country. Brian's car was still parked near his apartment. His bank account was never touched again. His credit cards were never used. His passport remained untouched. It was as if Brian walked into the bar and then simply stopped existing anywhere else. Months after he disappeared, something strange happened. Brian's girlfriend continued calling his cell phone just to hear his voicemail greeting. One night, instead of going straight to voicemail, the phone actually rang before cutting off. Phone records suggested it might have been a tower glitch, not proof that the phone was on. But for his loved ones, hearing that ring was haunting. It raised a painful question. Was Brian, or at least his phone, still somewhere out there? Over time, several theories formed. Some believe Brian intentionally disappeared, overwhelmed by grief after losing his mother and wanting to escape the pressure of medical school. Others believe he slipped out through the construction zone and met with foul play. Another unsettling theory suggests he may never have left the building at all and that something happened inside the bar or surrounding structure that has never been discovered. But without any confirmed sightings and with no footage of him leaving, every theory ends the same way, with more questions than answers. Brian's father, Randy Shaffer, never stopped searching for his son. He followed every lead, posted flyers, and held on to hope for as long as he lived. He passed away in 2008 without ever learning what happened to Brian. Friends and family still want only one thing: closure and truth. A busy bar, cameras on every exit, a man who walked inside and never came back out. What happened to Brian Shaffer when the trail ended? Thank you for watching. This is where the trail ends.